Hello, everybody. Just as promised, it's me, Heidi Hollis. I am back getting to your emails. So I wanted to read one off to you guys and try to give you some advice in regards to whatever the heck is going on because there's so many of them. There are so many of them that I just feel I have got to get through these emails. All right, so again, I welcome everybody. Write me at dusoutlander@gmail.com. That's DASOUTLANDER@gmail.com. My radio show is called The Outlander, so Das Outlander. I got a German name. I know German. So, here we go. This one says, Dear Heidi, hello. Whoever it is that checks this email box, I know that you probably see letters like this constantly, so I apologize beforehand for being monotonous. That's funny. So here it goes. I'm plagued by the so-called Hat Man, or shadow people. Oh, it's more like and for me, anyways. It started in my early teens and still happens now. I'm going on 25. I read somewhere that shadow cats are also part of this, and when I saw that, I kind of jumped in my skin. My parents' house has shadow cats running around all the time. I bet it's a lot cheaper to maintain them. They're so common that I've come to think of them as our other pets. I never realized they could be tied in with sleep paralysis and sleep apnea, which I have, and mostly at my parents' house only. That's interesting. I don't know if you've ever heard. I hear the garbage man. You guys hear the garbage man? I hear the garbage man. I don't know if you've ever heard of this being a continual thing or not, but if so, I would greatly appreciate any help in making it go away. Extra info that might be tied in. My parents' house was built by them. It's not old. We were the first family to live in it, and still do, obviously. Dang, that garbage man is loud. I had a rough time in my teens and constantly prayed that God would let me die already. Oh, that's horrible. Typical self-mutilation and other things. I still don't get along with my parents, and I don't like being in their house because they've been extremely negative about everything. Are you still a teenager? I'm just kidding. No, I understand. I've told them several times to think positively, but it doesn't do anything. They refuse to change as parents. My mom also has sleep apnea, I think. She'll stop breathing in her sleep for long periods of time. Oh, that's sleep apnea. Scares me, actually. I can't sleep by her because I'm always afraid she's not gonna take another breath. So that's my story. Probably a typical one. Thanks for your time. Mackenzie. I always like that name. So, Mackenzie, you were plagued by the Hat Man and Shadow People, but you didn't really specify what the heck are they doing? What do they exactly look like? For some reason, and I'm probably at fault for creating this stir of confusion out there, but a lot of people tend to call Hat Man Shadow People or Shadow People Hat Man, but they're really totally separate things, though they work together. How about that? It's a long story. It's a book. So, anyways, I would really wish that you wrote more about what it was that was going on. But what is hilarious to me is how you talk about the shadow cats running around all the time, that you think of them as your other pets. Girlfriend, I've been there. I had shadow cats. I don't know what their deal was because prior to that, I'd never had a cat before. And when I did get a cat, it was a black cat. So it just felt comfortable, I guess, because I saw shadow cats all the time. So, kind of funny. Really funny, but I can understand that would make you jump out of your skin. But I dealt with them for a very long time, and I'll tell you a quick story about what happened with my shadow cats. Okay, so anyways, I had a couple of friends who really wanted to know what it was like to see a ghost. So they had a camera, so they brought it over, set it up in my apartment, hooked it up, set it there, and try to catch these things, right? And they're like, oh, they were all excited. Oh, we're going to see a ghost. Never saw a ghost before. So they go to leave my apartment, right? I lived alone at the time. And I'd never heard two grown men scream so high a pitch before in my life. They started to walk out of my apartment and scream, ah, it's a cat, it's a cat. I'm like checking, what the heck are they talking about? And they're like, just totally carrying on like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And what it was that they said they saw was a ghostly looking cat run past them and cross through my wall that went into my apartment and came into my apartment. And I'm like, oh, so you saw him, huh? And they're just like, it's like, hey, this was their dream come true. They wanted to see it. So they got a chance to see it. I'm like, well, I guess you could take your equipment, if you want. And it was just pretty funny, It's like they came to catch the shadow cats, and the shadow cat greeted them at the door. I didn't much appreciate them, the cats, personally. Because I mean, it's such a disturbing thing to see something running past you. You know how fast cats can move sometimes, and imagine it with like ghostly wings. It was just highly disturbing. But so yeah, I totally get that. They don't take much to eat and clean up after. They're rather efficient like that. But shadow cats again are not like the ghost of a cat. They are very dark. So if you know what shadow people are extremely dark and aggressive, and like to feed off from your fears, essentially. So when you see a shadow cat and you know you don't have a cat, that'll give you some fear. So there you have it. So okay, so and then you said that, oh, your parents are very negative and they just want to change. I totally understand that. It's interesting because when it comes to like these shadow beings, they can evoke negativity, and they feed off from the negativity that's being given. They're like this reciprocity like thing they got going on. So are your parents negative, or are these things encouraging them to be negative, or is their negativity attracting the shadow cats? There you go. That's a mind twister for you. So it goes both ways, truly. So it's like, how do you know if you don't try and do one or the other? So I get how that is a little odd conundrum for you. So this is terrible that you had a rough time as a teenager and you were cutting and wish that you would die. I mean, that's horrible. You said self-mutilation. You didn't say cutting, but usually I think of that. So that's horrible. I mean, I am assuming that you're meaning it's in relation to, the negativity that was going on with your family, and also dealing with the shadow cats and Hat Man. Man, how come you didn't tell me about the Hat Man? The Hat Man stories are really, they tell me a whole lot. So that's why I always encourage people, tell me as much information as you can about your experiences, because the more that I get, the more that I can help and hopefully help address certain things that are going on. So I welcome that. As far as the sleep apnea, and that's more of a medical condition. I mean, there's like literally something physical blocking. I don't know. Tongue gets in the way, nose closes up. I mean, it's a whole mechanism type of thing. Now, shadow people like to sit on your chest and choke you. That's a whole other thing. That's and then, you open your eyes and there's something there. You may see something there and you may not. That's the interesting thing when it comes to shadow people, which is just a phenomenon that I think it's their favorite pastime thing to do, choke people and make them feel like they can't breathe or they're going to die. Was that another part of why you wish that you would die? I mean, because of what you're experiencing with those things? I honestly, I know a lot of people that feel that way. I mean, it's a horrific thing. So, okay. And then, sleep paralysis and night terrors do get associated with shadow people phenomenon. And, a lot of people would lean towards it being a mechanical thing in the brain, chemicals, I should say. Chemical things in the brain rather than mechanical, because there's not a whole lot of things squishing around in there, hopefully. It would be disgusting. I just keep thinking of that scene. It wasn't Indiana Jones where they cracked the skull of the monkeys and ate them. Was that Indiana Jones, or was that just like a nasty documentary I saw where people were eating the live brains of monkeys? Oh, I can never get it out of my head. Where was I? I was talking about something. Oh yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, night terrors. So, I lean more towards it being a paranormal phenomenon. And I always relate shadow people to being more alien-like. Maybe I should talk about that next. So yeah, I just wanted to, hopefully help address what it is that you experienced. You didn't really quite have a question in here. Did you guys see a question? You just shared your story. All right. Well, thank you for your time too, there, Mackenzie. Because that's what she put. I welcome everybody. Feel free, write me. Tell me what's on your mind. What is it that you experience, and put as much detail as you'd like. Don't apologize for being monotonous. Every single story is quite unique, and I love them. I love reading through them. I shouldn't say I love them. I wish that people weren't experiencing these things, but they are, and we're gonna get through this together and go from there. And hey, I hope that this was helpful. I got another one that I'm going to read here next, so you guys tune in.